What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today we have another reaction video on tap for you guys. So the last video that we did was the YouTube 2020 Rewind by Mr. Beast. And honestly, I expected to get roasted a lot about this because one of the big things for me with that video was that Corpse Husband was in the video and I had no idea who he really was, except for just like one little interaction he had on Twitter with Halsey, and that's all I knew about him. But you guys were really kind and open to the fact that I was uncultured in that regard, so I appreciate that, and I thank you guys for that. And a lot of you guys recommended some stuff to me, whether it was, Corpse Husband's YouTube videos where he, plays Among Us. You guys introduced me to him being like an artist, a musician. I didn't even know he did anything like that, so that was pretty cool. So we might have to look into some of that in the future if you guys are interested in seeing me do that. I love music, so I'd be more than happy to check out his type of music. Just let me know in the comment section below if you want me to do that. But anyway, we had somebody mention the tragic life of Corpse Husband, and I figured that this one would be a good one, and that's what we're going to react to today. So I figured that we would go ahead and check that one out because it could help educate me further on somebody who has a big draw, big influence on, people in the world and whatnot. So I figured might as well go ahead and check it out. So that is the video that we're going to be checking out today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for the love on the last reaction video as well. But we're just going to go ahead and check it out. This is The Tragic Life of Corpse Husband, face reveal, early life, voice condition, eye patch, and more.
Drop a like on this video and subscribe if you are a Corpse Husband
Is this not in full screen?
Hi guys, and welcome to Expert Reload. In this
Shout out to
video,
Expert
we will
Reload.
be taking a look at the sad story of Corpse Husband.
Yeah, I don't know much about Corpse Husband, so.
is a very popular YouTuber who is blowing up, gaining millions of views and subscribers each month.
Didn't seem like it was in 1080p.
Right now, you can see that he is doing very well. However, it has been a tough life for the YouTuber to get to this
Shout out to Counter-Strike, by the way.
Corpse
Surfing's
was
fun.
first born on August 8th, 1997, and had a tough childhood growing up. He has stated that he ended up dropping out of school in 8th grade due to personal issues. Although school isn't for everybody, it is sad that due to the issue he had in his life, he had to drop out and was unable to finish school with the rest of people his age. He also stated that he never watched a lot of movies growing up as he had a fear of movie theaters. A lot of people watching this are probably close with their family, and a lot of people watching this video are even probably living with their family right now. But sadly for Corpse, he has not ever been close with his family at all. His father left when he was very young, and he was raised by his mother. This would be fine if he got along with his mother, but this was not the case at all. Him and his mother would argue a lot, and in a recent question and answer on Instagram, he has confirmed that he no longer speaks with his family and has lived alone for a number of years.
I can definitely relate to that to some degree. Me and my mother, fortunately enough, have a great relationship. We get along just fine with each other and whatnot. And even in my older years, we have become more, I guess, like friends, and I had a lot of complicated stuff, which, I mean, we could get into that maybe if I started a podcast down the line or something like that. I can really get into my own story and whatnot, but I can relate a little bit to that whole ordeal, like the situation with his father and whatnot, but I definitely can't relate to not having both parents, because, I mean, I at least had one, so... I can only imagine how much more difficult that would make life, especially where you're stuck with a parent who you just don't click with, and just because they're your parents and just because they're your family, that doesn't mean that, you have to like them, you have to get along with them, like, family isn't necessarily just who you share bloodline with, you know what I mean? Family can be literally anybody, it does not have to be somebody that's a blood relative of you. But anyway, I just, wanted to say that I can relate a little bit to, some of the things that he's talking about right here about Corpse Husband, and it's rough, man. It's rough, and I can only imagine how much worse it was for him. So shout out to him for having such good success already.
Confirmed that he no longer speaks with his family and has lived alone for a number of years. This makes me upset because family are meant to be there for you, but Corpse's family were not there for him growing up and are not there for him now. He is lucky enough to have found some really close friends online.
Is what I'm talking about,
yeah. Sort of internet family for him. A crazy story that happened to Corpse is that he had an incident with a stalker. One day, somebody knocked on the door of Corpse's husband's house. His mother opened the door and explained to Corpse, who wasn't home at the time, that it was a weird guy that claimed he was with the gas company and was trying to get inside. His mother let him inside and he left shortly after.
Interesting.
When Corpse came home, his mother told him about what happened. Corpse called the gas company, to which they denied having knowledge of what happened. The day after, Corpse's husband and his family were out. When they all came home, they spotted somebody in a car in their driveway. He noticed he got spotted and acted like he was checking out their car that was parked in the driveway. Here have also been multiple occasions where people in
I'm
cars
assuming it was
have
the
been
same guy.
stalking his house, and every time one of his family members comes out of his house, they speed off. Since June 2016, Corpse's husband hasn't said anything about any more incidents.
Oh, so that was
These
a
are
while
really
ago.
strange
Okay.
occurrences, and we do not know why they are stalking him. Was it because of his YouTube fame, as this was back in 2016 and he was still quite big back then, or was it because of another reason?
I wonder how many, can one of you guys tell me how big his YouTube channel was in 2016? Because like I said, I don't know anything about him, and this guy says that, you know, he was still relatively big back then, so I've been out of the loop for a long time.
I spoke about this in a previous video, but another thing about Corpse is that he has a lot of health conditions. Corpse used to live...
Yeah, one of you guys in the comment section, I'll post it here, but one of you guys mentioned that he had that, talking about his voice, that he has a health condition about that.
Lift weights and exercise up to 6 times a week, but due to issues with his joints getting worse, he ultimately had to give this up as it was becoming difficult and causing him a lot of pain. He also has a condition called GERD.
Yep, this is what you were talking about.
Voice,
yep.
It's been like this since I was like 12, he said. I remember I used to call myself out of middle school. If I had to answer how, I would say a combination of genetics and a health condition I have called GERD. With GERD, stomach acid persistently flows up into the esophagus. Over time, that stomach acid can irritate one's vocal cords, throat, and esophagus, which can change one's voice, potentially making it deeper or raspier. Common signs and symptoms of GERD include a burning sensation in your chest, usually after eating, which might be worse at night, chest pain, difficulty swallowing, regurgitation of food or sour liquid, sensation of a lump in your throat. Over the years,
I will say that I did have a form of acid reflux when I was younger, and I was on medication for it for just a little bit. But some of this is something that I experienced. The burning sensation, it's weird when you have acid reflux. The feeling of it, like burning your throat, is really weird, and it has this weird like taste to it. And I say taste because you know, it's the gases, right? So you would, you know, basically burp, right? And it would just have this a very acidic like taste to it. It's hard to explain other than that. And you would get this lump at the very bottom, like all the way down here, the bottom of your throat. So I mean, I don't think it wasn't this, I'm pretty sure, but having a little bit of acid reflux, if you've ever had that, then you know that, you know what some of these are. I never had like the chest pain or anything like that, so thankfully it wasn't this, you know.
Years, this condition has made it hard for him to make and upload YouTube videos on a consistent basis.
I could imagine so, yeah.
He's also struggling to pay his medical bills and has spoke about it on stream in this clip.
I was worried I wouldn't be able to help it because I was broke until a few weeks ago, but because of you guys, insurance referred me to the wrong place 3 times over the course of like a month, so I haven't been able to even get anywhere. But because of you guys, I called and was like, fuck it, I'll pay out of pocket. Like, but even paying out of pocket, it's like a month wait. I also have a nerve conduction study next month where they're gonna sit me in a chair and probably jab me with needles and shock me, so it's gonna be a fun time.
I can imagine that would be a not fun time.
Before he blew up because of Among Us. You have to remember, in America, medical bills are extremely expensive due to the healthcare system there, and the cost of living in California is extremely high.
You also get paid more, but
Corpse's physical disabilities, but sadly, he suffers from bad anxiety too. On his Instagram, he has spoken about how nervous he was during the interview with Anthony from Smosh, and how even basic tasks like getting coffee and going grocery shopping are extremely difficult for him. As a result of his anxiety, he is known to spend a large amount of his time indoors and doesn't ever really leave his house. When asked about how quarantine has affected his life, he said not at all, as he barely left his house in the first place. This is sad, as it can lead you to feeling alone a lot of the time, especially since Corpse lives by himself. You probably have seen his profile picture, but you may not have known that he has to wear an eye patch due to the fact that looking at the screen hurts his eye.
Yeah, I didn't know
I
that.
always thought that the profile picture was more of a cool style, but it is sad when you know the true reason why he has to wear it.
So the eye patch, I don't know if it's one of my many chronic illness symptoms because I'm chronically ill, but anytime I look at a screen, or I've always had very bad light sensitivity since everything. Every time I look at a screen for more than like 5 minutes with my eye, it just completely gets like inflamed and bloodshot and like hurts really bad for like the rest of the day. It gets like super funked up if I look at any screen. I have f.lux maxed out on my PC. I've tried the glasses for it, contacts, everything. Nothing helps.
He has previously stated that he will end up doing a face reveal at the end of this year, but I am unsure if this will still happen due to his anxiety. We have seen a body picture, a clip of his body with Anthony in that video, his hands and a strand of hair, but still not a face reveal. We do know that he does have curly black hair, and this was confirmed by Corpse himself, but we have not seen all of his hair. But he has recently posted a tweet stating, "I would love to have a conversation with Billie Eilish or something about how TF she coped with coming up so quick, because this is hell behind the scenes LMAO. So much wild stuff goes on. I can't imagine my physical appearance being out there on top of that. Sounds crazy."
Just to talk about that, I know nothing really of, like any sort of fame, stature, or anything like that, but I could only imagine, the amount, because as a content creator and the experience that I do have behind that, one thing that I can relate to is that you can have people flood you with good things, just person after person after person, whether it's complimenting on how you look, complimenting you on how good your content is, or how much they love their content, or how much you've helped them, or whatever. You could have 100 of those, and then you can have one person telling you how you look weird and your content sucks and you're boring and whatever, right? All those, like, whatever that they can think of, and that one will completely discredit all the others that you got, all the other 100 that you got, right? And that's just on like a small scale of things, right? So I can only imagine, like this tweet right here, he has almost 250,000 likes, almost 8K, retweets, 5K comments, responses, whatever, right? So you can only imagine, like, just going through and seeing, probably with him, a overwhelmingly positive amount of responses, but then there's always going to be those people that are, whether they're jealous of the attention that he's getting, or think that he's, tweeting at Billie Eilish, trying to get more attention, or leeching, or whatever. People are psycho like that, and the internet gives them a shield, a buffer. They can hide behind the screen and whatnot. So I can only imagine, again, just like everything else that he's gone through, I can only imagine like how blowing up super quick, how rough that could be. But I mean, some people are really good at coping with it and some people aren't, and I mean, at least, shout out to him for talking about these things and opening up about these things, because I know some people have a really hard time talking about anything that is, about them, whether it's, their insecurities, I guess. Especially some people have a really hard time with that. So honestly, I can understand that, like, talking about stuff like this is helpful, and the fact that he has such a big platform and he can open up about that and saying how difficult it is being for him behind the scenes after blowing up and being one of the most popular, people in the YouTube world and whatnot. So, let's just hope that he can stay strong and keep battling through everything and keep being who he is, right? Because that's what people love him for, is for who he actually is. So, and I'm sure he's a big inspiration for that. And I know that sometimes that'll go to the back of the mind. So hopefully he'll always remember that. like I said, I don't know really anything about him, but I can just speak on from an outside perspective.
This shows that he is not very likely to reveal his face, as he suffers from extreme anxiety, as I mentioned before.
And real quick, I just want to talk about Billie Eilish for a second. Billie Eilish, like when I don't remember what it was, like when after she turned 18 or something like that, people were talking like body shaming her and crap like that because she had always like just covered herself up completely because of the social stigma on women and like famous women and whatnot and their bodies and crap like that. And I'm not gonna get into that completely, but she was just kind of like, screw you guys and all of that crap. So like, shout out to her for just being her and doing whatever the frick she wanted to, and saying, I don't care like what you guys think about that stuff, because this is who I am and this is who I'm going to be, and deal with it or step off.
And this would definitely make it worse with his appearance being out there for everyone to see. Also, in relation to a tweet from Luna saying that he wished he never revealed his face, Corpse put a black heart underneath the tweet, which shows he knows where Luna is coming from. Will Corpse ever do a face reveal? Right now, I would say it's not very likely due to his anxiety, but as Justin Bieber once said, I will never say never. I hope you learned a little more about Corpse and his tough upbringing.
Yeah, I definitely did.
Personally, I think Corpse is a great guy who deserves every little bit of success he has achieved. He is an extremely charismatic guy with an amazing voice and seems like a genuine person. He has had an extremely tough life, as you can see, from suffering from family problems, anxiety, and physical conditions as well. The success he has achieved recently has been remarkable, and in my opinion, it couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Yeah, I kind of agree with the what he had to say there. I can't really speak on whether I think he's like a genuine person or whatnot, and that's not me saying that he's not, but Corpse Husband, definitely seems like a type of person that I would get along with, and he definitely seems like a very strong-willed individual to have, like I said, with the first things that they talked about with his private life growing up and whatnot. I can definitely relate hard to a lot of that stuff, but like I said, I can't relate to the fact of having one parent gone and then the other one just you just constantly clashing with. So I can't relate to that exactly, but I can understand how difficult that can be and how much that could change your scope of everything in the world, literally everything. And luckily for me, I was able to take that and turn it into a positive and then run with it. And like I said, I'm open to sharing everything about myself. So who knows, like maybe if I do start up a podcast or something, like I could have talks about things that, I dealt with and whatnot, and try to, use my story in a positive way for people. But Corpse Husband, man, you want to talk about getting a bad hand dealt to you? Wow. From all the chronic illnesses to not having a family that supports him in any way, shape, or form, to all the anxiety where he can't even do really normal tasks, day-to-day tasks, without having to fight with all of his willpower to do it, like like just going and getting coffee or going to the store or whatever, like that wow, like that's tough, and I don't blame him, you know what I mean? I don't want to, I'm trying to think of the word here. I don't want to like harp on him and be like, oh, come on, man, things aren't that hard. Like, no, none of that. Because I understand. I get it, man. It's people deal with things differently. And, overall, I'd like to say that I think he's doing pretty all right for himself, and now he has this fame on top of everything else that he has to deal with. He has to learn how to cope with that. And like I said, having a big group like that behind you, and he has family that may not be related to him, but he has family now, and that's super huge. People that can help, hold him up and keep him steady when he's feeling down or whatever, you know what I mean? So all we can do is being onlookers to this is to reinforce with positivity and to not feed into the negative, attitudes that people are throwing at him, and or anybody for that matter, anybody that you support, like just pushing away all that negativity and just feeding positivity and whatnot. Because especially in today's day and age with how everything is and how everything is so internet related, It's so easy to get away with stuff. It's so easy to just post something mean and hateful, and you don't have to worry about the consequences of it. So if you ever get the urge to do that, try to fight that. Try to fight that, and don't interact and engage with people that are doing that, because you're giving them attention and giving them more of a platform to then work with and feed the evil and the negative energy and all that. So all we can do as people, as societies, work together and try to push positive narratives and crap like that, and realistic narratives at the same time. I'm not talking about fake gassing up and whatnot, but you get what I'm saying. So anyway, I kind of went on to a little bit of a spiel there. It was just, I don't know, there was a lot to take in there, a lot to talk about. I appreciate you guys tuning in if you've watched all the way through here. I will put the link to this video in the description, so if you guys want to check it out for yourselves, you guys can go ahead and watch it just raw on its own. Oh, wow, that was a lot. That was a lot, I must say. I learned a lot about Corpse Husband, and I'm glad that I now know more about him, and he's not just some dude that talked to Halsey on Twitter, or some dude that's got a deep voice. Now I understand where he comes from, and you know, I have this connection to him now. So I don't know, maybe I started enjoying his content, maybe I actually start consuming his content. Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. If you guys have any recommendations on what you want to see me react to next, I do want to be posting these more often, and just videos in general. I've had a couple of things that I think it's been about 2 weeks since I've uploaded, and I've had some things that it's kind of taken my focus away from videos, but we're going to be back on it now. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It is completely free to do, and if you end up not enjoying the content in the future, you can always just unsubscribe for free as well. We're trying to push to 1,000 subs, hit that first like major milestone for the channel. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. Once again, I know I've said that like 5 times. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Have a wonderful night.